It is January, of course. It is 2022. I know for a lot of you, you're thinking about, okay, what can I do differently this year? And, we've heard of all these things, dry January, no alcohol. Well, there's a new global campaign, and it's called Veganuary. And it's a hard G. It's not a V-January. It's a Veganuary. It's a global campaign where people sign up to go vegan for a full month. Last year, about 580,000 people signed up for the challenge. And there is a lot of interest and health benefits. Really? Of going vegan, but it's hard to stick to. Let's get to our guest. Robin Glantz, nutritionist, joins us on the line. Hi, Robin.
Hello.
Someone comes to you, Robin. You've been great on this program. Thanks for coming back. If someone comes to you and says, hey, Robin, I want to go vegan, what do you say to them?
Well, I get this a lot, and not just with this new Veganuary trend that's been getting more and more popular. There's been many documentaries that have been released over the benefits of going vegan over the past few years. So every now and then I get these waves of people who really want to go vegan like yesterday. Now, what I always like to start with is getting to have a better understanding of why they're doing it. And for many, if it's been something they've been considering and researching for a long time, and morally and ethically they feel they absolutely have to do this, I am more than happy to guide them because, yeah, it can be a wonderful thing to do. But if it's coming from a place of, fear or shame, or I heard that meat is killing me and I have to give this up, that's when I like to have a bit more of a conversation and make sure that they're doing this for the right reasons and that it's not too extreme a jump in that direction. And
what are some of those, when you say it's not too extreme a jump, right? So what would make you think that it would be an extreme jump?
Well, again, even I have some concerns even about these kind of 1 month challenges, going from eating as you normally would to going completely vegan overnight, and definitely for a full month, if not more. It can be pretty challenging. If, there's going to be a lot of recipes that you are going to need to learn, a lot of ingredients that you may not have hanging around your house. And then, again, those kind of surprise instances where you're like, wow, I can't go out to dinner with my friends. Well, we can't anyways right now. But, or, wow, I cannot eat what my family's eating. That will kind of come up. Even though we have the best of intentions and we want to be doing this, life sometimes gets in the way. And that could leave people feeling like, I just can't do this, never mind, and feeling like they have somehow failed.
Now, Robin, the question I have is being vegan, actually healthier? And the reason I bring this up, there's been a couple of stories of people that have lived long lives. The woman in Japan who was the oldest person in the world just reached 119 years old, and her quote of the day is like, she celebrated with a Coke, like she drinks a Coke every day. And I always find it amazing, those people that reach those milestones, 100, 110, 120. They always say, yeah, well, every day I start my day with the steak and eggs, and that's how I made it. Or it's my bourbon. So like, but does vegan lead to a longer and healthier life? Do we have any science behind that?
I'll tell you, Elias, it's so tricky because nutritional studies it's really hard to isolate just somebody's diet when we talk about health and longevity. We have tons of studies that show association between diets that are maybe more plant-based and health. And absolutely, there's a lot there. Listen, I always say this, that science around nutrition is always changing. One day, coffee is good for you. One day it's bad, etc. But when it comes to plants, vegetables, never have we once heard a study that suddenly came out and said, you know what, we were wrong, eat less vegetables. So there definitely is something to eating more plant-based foods. And we do know that diets that are very rich in animal-based foods may not be the healthiest for heart health, etc. But does that mean that we need to completely eliminate animal foods to get those benefits? And that's where I'd like to say that no, we do not have this evidence of going strictly vegan being necessary. And I do know that often people will report and say, you know what, I felt great after my 1 month or after just a few weeks of going vegan. I could tell I was healthier. And that is wonderful. But those kind of reported health benefits, we cannot know if that's purely from being vegan or if it's just the fact that, hey, guess what? I'm paying more attention to how I'm eating. I'm actually being forced to stop and make more home-cooked meals because I'm on this plan. I am taking care of myself. So that's where, we have to be a bit careful in that research and saying, really, is it the vegan diet, or is it some of the elements of the vegan diet that are making people healthier that we could do without having to give up meat if that's something that you really enjoy?
And Robin, just to wrap up here, if you are going to say, it's a new year, maybe I'm going to try something like this, is there maybe a more responsible way of broaching a vegan diet or veganism in your lifestyle?
Absolutely. And this is what I tell all my clients. Again, if you want this to be something that you really want to adapt to and see if it works for you, go slow. I'm much more of a fan of you may have heard of the Meatless Monday trend, which was just, maybe choosing one day a week. It doesn't have to be a Monday, where you maybe explore a new vegetarian or vegan recipe and kind of dip your toes in that way and slowly build up a repertoire of, okay, I got this. This recipe works. Let me slowly add this in and do a bit more, because every little bit is great and helps, but it does not have to be all or none.
Robin, we're going to leave it there. I want to thank you for joining us on this Veganuary edition of the show.
It's been my pleasure.
Hard G, Veganuary is the campaign, and Robin Glantz is a nutritionist. Take care, Robin.